What's your name?
My name's Colby.
What?
Covington.
Colby Covington?
Yeah. When you talk to Volkanovski, do you have to get a step stool to talk to him?
No, I don't.
Oh, really? I mean, he's like 4 feet tall.
Colby Covington versus Pimblett would be an incredible watch. How do you think you'd match up against him?
Oh, I think I'd spark him. I think I'd knock him out first round. I think that'd be the easiest fight of my career.
Well, UFC 314 is live and exclusive right here on Main Event this weekend from here in Miami. And one of Miami's favorite sons has been kind enough to join us and show us around his town. Colby Covington, thanks for joining us, mate.
Thank you for having me.
Tell us a little bit about where you've taken us today, because it's absolutely gorgeous here in Miami.
Could have taken you anywhere. We could have went on one of my yachts, you know, got in one of my Lamborghinis, but, you know, I wanted to show you guys the Design District because there's a lot of history here, and it's just a beautiful place to be. What's up, brother?
You
How
got
you
a
doing?
fan. Get a shot of that.
Good to see you. My man.
There you go. You're like the mayor around here.
Yeah. Good to see you, boys. How you doing? Of course. My guy, appreciate you, bro. Have a good day, boys.
That must be like a regular thing for you, no matter where you go, right?
That's no matter where I go. I could be here, New York, you know, in Australia. People recognize game. You know, game recognizes game. So they know what I'm doing, you know, as far as promotion and marketing, you know, and I'm a business player, so people respect that.
Well, tell us a little bit about these people, and I wanted to ask you specifically about Miami, what it means to you, right? When you hear Colby Covington fighting out of Miami, Florida, what does that mean for you?
It means everything. You know, it's the 305, this city gave me everything. I came down here as a broke college student with a lot of debt, and, you know, I started training and became a professional fighter, and you know, now I have everything. I've achieved the American dream. I'm able to do anything at any moment. So, you know, this city, I really take a lot into this city because every time I go into a fight, you know, I bring this city on my back. You know, I say 305, and I really fight for the city every time I get here because it's such a diverse, beautiful place, and, you know, it's made me into the person that I am today.
And the people are always so supportive of you. I imagine you get a lot of love no matter where you go. I mean, we just saw it just there.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit about the people who support you from the 305.
Yeah, you know, the people support me here because I support the city. I've lived here 16 years, so I'm a transplant from the West Coast, and, you know, now this is my home, and people, they appreciate me because I stand up for it, you know, and I fight for it, and they know that I want the best for this city and for this country. So, you know, I want people to prosper, and I want people to, you know, be able to live their best lives. So people, you know, they appreciate me, and they've enshrined me as, you know, the King of Miami. That's why I got my King of Miami belt.
And Colby, not only that, but UFC 314 comes to this beautiful city this weekend, starring our very own Alex Volkanovski. We'll get to Volk in just a moment, but I mean, to see your city embrace the sport of mixed martial arts so well, I mean, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, it means everything. You know, this show always puts on, you know, a great spectacle for the UFC and for the fans. It's, you know, this is the sexiest city alive. You see everywhere we go. We got, you know, beautiful women, just amazing weather, and just amazing views. So, you know, Miami, I feel like is the fight capital junior of the world. Vegas is always going to be the fight capital, but this is the entertainment capital. If you want to be an entertainment superstar, you got to come to Miami and show out. If people don't recognize you in Miami, they're not going to recognize you anywhere. So,
right.
I think that the Miami really embraces the UFC, and it's going to be a sold-out crowd, and it's going to be a spectacle on Saturday night.
Well, we can't wait for this weekend. And Alexander Volkanovski, as I mentioned, he's a legend back home. But you guys have had a pretty intense war of words over the years. I mean, it all started with that nerds and virgins comment, but then a few years later, he really sort of hit back at you a little bit. He, you know, called you a piece of you-know-what, said you were fake, hoped that Jorge would knock you out. How did you respond to that when you saw that?
When you talk to Volkanovski, do you have to get a step stool to talk to him?
No, I don't.
Oh, really? I mean, he's like 4 feet tall. I know he's mad at me because he's mad that he can't ride the big kid rides at the amusement park. So that's why he's mad at me. I mean, there's a height limit. I'm sorry, Alex. Don't be mad at me. Be mad at society that you're not at the height limit to be able to ride the rides. I think he's just fighting for money. I think he's just coming back to fight for money, and I don't think we have that same bulk that we had when he was hungry earlier in his career. I think he's literally just cash grabbing this weekend, and, you know, I don't know, he fights in the little man's weight classes. He doesn't fight in a real man's weight class, so I can't really judge him. If he fought around my weight class, I could judge him, but, you know, he fights in the little boy's weight class, so he needs to worry about, you know, getting off the short bus before he talks about Colby again.
I'm feeling a little insecure now because I'm a bit shorter than you myself. So.
Oh, but you're not 4 feet short, you know. You're your average man height, you know. We can look eye to eye. You know, with him, you got to look down on him. You got to go like this. Hey, little guy, we see you down there. Oh, hey, what's up, Alex? How you doing, buddy?
What have you made of his achievements and the record that he has amassed?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to pay attention to the little guys. You know, there's not a lot of guys in the world that walk around at that weight class. You know, most people walk around like 160, 170, 180. You know, that's the average man's weight class. So how many guys can realistically even make that weight class and make it even a depth of a weight class? I think it's a weak weight class.
He's taking on a young, hungry prospect in Diego Lopes this weekend, another Brazilian. You know, the people with whom you've had a bit of a stoush in the past. Your thoughts on him in that matchup?
Yeah, I think that I'm going to have to go with the emo haircut looking dude, Lopes. I think he's younger, he's hungrier, and I think Volk's just coming back for a paycheck. So I think that, yeah, the emo kid beats him.
Why do you say that Volk's just in it for a paycheck? Do you think that he's not at the level that he once was?
I don't think he's there, and I think he really just was looking for that Makachev fight because he wanted to get paid, and then, you know, he jumped right back into another fight with Topuria right away, and then he's been begging to fight ever since then. So I don't know. I think he's just cash grabbing. That's the inclination that I get now, that he's just looking to fight for money. He's not looking to fight for legacy anymore. He already built his legacy in his mind, and now he just wants to get paid. He's got a lot of mouths to feed. You know, he's got 3 daughters, and you could tell he wasn't happy about his last daughter. So he's like, oh man, I want a boy, you know? So we'll see if he keeps trying to get a boy.
You're a great student of the game, Colby. Tactically, how do you break this down between two guys who are pretty well balanced inside the octagon?
Yeah, I break it down like, you know, Volkanovski's going to probably look for low kicks and calf kicks to chop down Lopes, and I think Lopes is just going to be aggressive, and he's going to be hungry. He's young. He wants to get in the pocket and brawl. So I think it's going to be an interesting fight, and you know, the city of Miami, you know, is always a treat. So I think it's going to be a fun weekend. Can't wait to be out there at the Kaseya Center.
It should be fun. What about in the co-main event? Michael Chandler and Pimblett, a guy who's very good on the mic as well. Your thoughts on that matchup and those two guys in particular?
Yeah, I think Patty's all hype. You know, he's
really?
I think he's just got a bowl cut and an English accent. That's why people like him. They can identify with him because he's got that stupid little accent. But he lost to that meth addict, you know, Jeff Gordon. So, how good is he really, you know? But then on the other side of the token, we got Mike Chandler. He's 2-6. You know, he doesn't even have a winning record in the UFC. So how good is he? He's not, you know, see you at the top. He's not even at the top. He's at the bottom. So I think it's a 2 overhyped guys fight, and I think Chandler gets it done, though. I think that Patty, you know, is talking a big game, and he hasn't really backed it up. So I think Chandler gets it done, but, you know, that'll get him to, subpar 50 in the UFC. He'll be 3-6, so he wins 25% of the time. That's not very good.
What about you, Colby? What's next for you? I mean, we saw you in action here in Florida not too long ago, a disappointing result. Your thoughts on what transpired in Tampa?
Yeah, what transpired, you know, I didn't get a full training camp. You know, I came off the couch on 2 weeks. I was helping President Trump get elected because that's a more important fight for me and my future is for him to get back in office and save America, because the way America was going under the last administration was not good. I mean, the streets were rotting, you know, homeless were being incentivized. Here's some drugs, homeless, stay on the streets, stay homeless. And then, you know, our borders were wide open, so there was a lot of criminals coming through. So, you know, that was a more important fight. I'm glad we got him elected. Now I'm ready to get back to business. And if I get a full training camp, I beat anybody in the world. I'm still the best welterweight alive. I truly believe that. So what's next is, you know, Dana White's coming to town this weekend, hoping to sit down with him for dinner. Maybe we'll go to Mar-a-Lago one time at Palm Beach, and then we'll figure out what's the biggest and best business we can do. I want to do good business for the company, and it's about, you know, making money for them. So we'll sit down, see who's the biggest fight that we can get, and that's who we'll approach. You know, there's some good names out there. There's some people talking about me. So, you know, we'll see what happens with Patty this weekend, and you know, maybe a Diaz is always out there, but big money fights. You know, we're looking for big fights to do good business for the company.
Colby Covington versus Pimblett would be an incredible watch. How do you think you'd match up against him?
Oh, I think I'd spark him. I think I'd knock him out first round. I think that'd be the easiest fight of my career. Yeah, I mean, you saw what happened with the Jared Gordon fight. I mean, he should have lost that fight to a meth addict. So, you know, I would love that fight. I think he's all hype, and I don't think he needs to stop running his mouth. If you're gonna run your mouth about me, you better step in that cage. You know what I mean? Like, talk the talk, walk the walk. If you're gonna talk that shit, you better come sign that contract and see me in the cage. Because if you don't, you're just a fucking another coward that ran my name through your mouth and you didn't back up your words.
For how long do you want to keep doing this, Colby? Because you are so experienced inside the octagon. You've achieved so much, former interim champion, of course. Is there an end in sight, or do you feel good enough that you can keep going?
Yeah, there's always an end in sight. You got to be real with yourself. I'm a realist in life, and I know I can't do this forever, and there's an expiration date. So I think another 2 to 3 years would be perfect,
Yeah.
and then I want to transition into politics. I was
Do
talking. Yeah, I want to. Yeah, I think that's a better fight.
Are you in the
to
UFC?
fight for our country? Sometimes.
Are you?
Yeah.
Wait, what's your name?
My name's Colby
What?
Covington.
Colby Covington?
Yeah.
I don't
Colby Chaos.
Colby Chaos. Look it up.
Hey, this is the king of Miami, man.
Huh.
It's true.
Where is this going to be on?
On Fox Sports.
Actually?
Actually, yeah.
God, cut me out, please.
But
Well, she
what
wasn't a fan, but you've just won a fan.
There
it
we
looks
go.
Like.
We
There
got
you
a
go.
new fan. There we go. It's a good thing. I'm not into blondes anyways. I like brunettes. but no, back to what we were saying. I'd rather, fight for my country. I've done fighting for myself my whole life. Now I want to fight for my country and fight for the world. I want world peace. I want people to prosper all around the world and live their best lives because life's so short. So, my fight after I'm done with the UFC in a couple years is to go into politics, maybe in Congress, maybe senator, and fight for the America first and we the people first agenda.
Senator, maybe one day president?
Maybe one day president. You never know. Anything's possible in life when you believe.
Has that been a goal for you, Colby, for a while? Have you always wanted to be president?
It has been. It's
Really?
to be a president and lead people and really lead from the front. I think that'd be my greatest honor. And I would completely put myself second in every situation, be selfish and just fight for the people. Make sure the policies all benefit the people. I want people to, I have a great life. I'm not going to talk about my money, but I have a great life where I'm able to do anything whenever I want. I want people to have that same life and that same freedom, because I'm all about freedom. That's why I have this "We the People" tattoo on my chest. Give the power back to the people, less government, more control to the people.
Can I ask, why then did you decide to be a fighter? I mean, obviously your God-given talents probably pushed you in that direction, but why did you choose not to pursue that when you were young?
Yeah, I think the timing. I think the timing just wasn't right. I came from a very blue-collar family, so it's not like I grew up around politics or big money. So, I kind of had to fight my way into it with these bare hands, and now I've been able to fight my way into these circles with some of the biggest people in the world. I'm having dinner last weekend with the NVIDIA owner, Jensen Huang, talking to Larry Ellison, guys worth $250 billion. At Mar-a-Lago talking to Trump. Yesterday doing an interview with Laura Trump. And, just now my network is so much different because of my fighting and winning a world championship and being polarizing.
Sure.
So, now I have a great network and a good connections and a good circle. And, now I think is the perfect timing. Everything in life is timing. It's just the right time, and now is the right time.
Well, that's great, and it would be certainly interesting to see you represent the people of Miami who you mentioned you love so dearly. Is that something that you'd like to do as well? Like, I mean, you mentioned you have a couple more years inside the octagon to fight in Miami a bit more. I mean, I know you fought at Fort Lauderdale a number of times very early on in your career, and you obviously fought in Tampa recently. What about fighting here at the Kaseya Center in Miami?
Oh man, dude, honestly, that would be like my life accomplishment dream for fighting, just to get to represent my home city and fight in my home city and then sleep in my own bed. Like, I know my full potential would come out if I got that opportunity. So that is the plan. I want to fight at least in Miami once or twice before my career is done. So I'm hoping that UFC will make my wishes come true.
It would have been cool to see that Jorge Masvidal fight take place there, because I mean, you guys are the two hometown boys.
Yeah, they were talking about it too. They were talking about trying to make it there, but in Vegas is good too. That's the fight capital. That's where the UFC headquarters is at. But who knows? Maybe there's part 2 in Miami. Cap it off. He's been running his mouth again. He's a fat, sad, deadbeat father. So, all he does is spout his mouth anymore. He's got no actions to back it up.
Why do you say that? I mean, we spoke with Jorge. He was very cordial with us. You guys don't talk anymore, obviously?
No, definitely not. Don't talk. All he does is talk about me. I don't talk about him. I'm living rent-free in the guy's head. All he does is talk about me in every interview. He was on an interview with some guy the other day, and he was just same shit. Oh, Colby's on drugs. Oh, Colby.
He was speaking about you.
He was speaking about me.
Right.
Yeah. That irrelevant reporter. Ariel or something like that, or AOL Huani, or I don't even know what his name is.
Oh, right, Ariel.
Yeah, he's an irrelevant bum too, but yeah, he was just saying, non-factual stuff, and all the guy does is talk. He can't walk like me.
I like Ariel, but I think Jorge has he started his own fight promotion now.
Did he?
Yeah.
Really?
Game Bread Promotions, I think it is.
Never heard of it. No.
Yeah. I think he's looking at expanding.
Lame Bread Promotions. That's weird. Why would they do that? Lame Bread's just, they're not going to do good business. I think they went under if they did. He's the biggest problem with money in the world. He doesn't even pay his child support that he owes. He has like 3 kids. He doesn't pay his child support.
Right.
I've talked to his wife about it many times, and she's pissed off that he's blocking his money, hiding his money in all these different places. So yeah, that's the last person you want to fight for, because he's definitely not going to pay you.
Well, Colby Covington, thank you so much for showing us Miami. What a beautiful spot, what a beautiful city. Thanks very much for taking us around. It's a gorgeous day, and man, I really appreciate that.
Appreciate you coming to town, man.
Oh, man.
Much love. Have a good time this weekend at the event, and safe travels back to Australia.
That's it. We love having you here on Fox Sports and UFC 314, live and exclusive right here on Main Event this Sunday. Don't miss it.